This is the 11th of June, Thursday, and what you're about to hear is the ground briefing that I gave my flight prior to a mission with CBU. We had 6 CBU pods apiece for a total of about 1,500 bomblets apiece. And our mission is to go out and drop these. And without any further ado, I'll let you sit down and monitor the briefing that we had. Unites 5-3 and 5-4, myself, Captain Bowen, Chappie, and Vern for SAR purposes, you'll be 5-3 Alpha. Emission 5303. We have a downward target of 1815. Takeoff 1755. Make start engines 1735. And station time is 1750. We have aircraft 793 and 794 with a triple Y load. Working rash on 246.8. And 340 at 70 off 73, which is 350 at 76 off 102. Shouldn't be any difficulty picking up snow. Okay, nothing unfusing. Deputy lead radio could be yourself. We'll talk about that more. Spares will be standard. We'll come back and get the aircraft fixed, replaced, top off, get us let and go. If we have any malfunctions that warrant air or ground and we'll do it. Talk about it unless it's critical action time. We don't have an alternate mission. Our primary mission is work with rash. Intelligence. Did you happen to have the altitudes? What's the altitude for after 1800?
5.0.
You have the rest of it. You have it down, Jack? Okay, you don't have to have that then. Don't have any arc lights that I know of. The bird base is still Quan Loy up in that area. And you have the weather channel?
Okie dokie, 89 runway, Jet. 2969 altimeter. Takeoff winds 280 at 8. 6 plus on the biz. Scattered 2,500. Scattered 10,000. And broken 30,000. Ceiling 30,000. Isolated thunderstorms and rain showers in the area on takeoff. En route, the weather will be just about the same with that 10,000 foot scatter going from about 1/8 to about 2/8, just a little bit more. And 10,000 foot winds 300 at 25. 20,000 foot winds 190 at 5. In the target area, we can expect the same rain showers, thunderstorms, with minimum conditions and rain showers going down to 2 miles, 2,000 foot ceiling. Thunderstorms going down to 1/2 mile, 1,000 foot ceiling. Surface winds 280 at 5. 1,000 foot 280 at 5. 2,000 foot 290 at 10. 3 and 4,000 foot 310 at 15. No change in the weather back here out there. The rising slightly 2970. And those rain showers should be a little bit closer. Matter of fact, maybe even right over the field. It'll be 3 miles, 2,000 feet overcast. All of our alternates are VFR at the present time and should be predominantly VFR during the rest of the night. However, there are rain showers at all 11 fan ranks, calling rain showers in the mountains. And other than that, there are 3,000 scattered, 10,000 broken. Tonsillet, Pintui, and Bungtao all have the same rain showers, thunderstorms, and be going down to about 3 miles, 1,500 feet overcast. And one is like Bungtao, 300, 10 resting to 18.
You never saw them all. Okay, for our purposes, we can use pretty much the II load for our weight. Actually, we'll be a little lighter than that, but we use those figures. 2950. 12, 2, and 4, 90, 24, 5,000. Okay, personal equipment, be standard. I think we ought to take our flashlights just in case we get hung up. Aircraft mode is pretty by the checklist. On the CBU-25, of course, make sure your pigtails are hooked up. No, they won't be hooked up here. They hook them up in the Army area now. They're not on Earth. And make sure your switch is set on the fire single as opposed to ripple. Nothing else significant. They have a hell of a lot of pins they have to pull down in the Army area. The 12, direction, the 6, 3, 18 pins. Yeah, it's going to be hard enough to count. I think you just have to take the word for it. 18 pins a lot. Okay. We'll go ahead and start on 72.8 monitoring 3, or correction 2. Check in, go to 2, check in, get our mission clearance, go to 3. Don't check in until after I get the taxi instructions, and check in then. And we'll taxi normal, 150 foot spacing, heads out, and monitor 72.8, and I'll call you over 438. We won't check in, we'll get our checks, and then I'll tell you to go back to 72.8 and return to uniform runway. And I don't care particularly that you monitor Fox Mike. In fact, I don't. I turn it off so I know that you're not on it, perhaps, talking to me. You should be on uniform. Washing layer procedures be standard, arms out, checks complete, beaten up. I'll visually call you over to 4. We'll check in, and then takeoff check complete. Line up, south side, north side. When you're ready to go, give me a nod. I'll give you the run-up signal. When you're ready to go again, give me a nod, and we'll go from there. Any spares, any difficulty going down there, it'll be normal. We'll come back and replace the aircraft and whatnot, and get aircraft topped off, slick, and so on. Takeoff emergencies, you handle your aircraft and take necessary actions. And if I have it, I'll call it, and you'll have to make up your mind what you're going to do. Be aware that if I dump mine, that you may have to dump yours in self-defense. Excuse me, after takeoff, we have emergencies, of course. The other guy else will be chase and render assistance and clear for him and whatnot. And we have the information for landing. We dump the stuff after takeoff, dumping the fuel after takeoff. And if we have radio failure on takeoff, we'll join up and try to get together on Fox Mike. We'll get that to working while we'll go ahead and complete the mission on Fox Mike, and the other aircraft will assume the lead, bring the other guy back for wing landing, ordnance, fuel, daylight, weather and everything permitting. We'll talk about radio failure later on. Okay, barring all that, we climb, check, go 5, check in, and join up, be normal, check each other over, move out, tax spread, and go on out. 470 miles, we'll go at 16.5, and be 200 knots. I want you to be aware of the difference in this ordinance, and with wall-to-wall, that's going to drag index of 36 per, and 6 times 36 is a lot, plus the 40 for the tanks, which comes out to 250. The drag index 250, something like that. So you're going to have a hell of a lot less performance on the climb out and cruise. I don't think it's truly 36. I think it's something less than that, but it's noticeable, and it will give you probably 25% increase in fuel flow, possibly, but I don't think it's that high. Enough to keep from your cruise low. But we'll use 200 indicated, 16,005 and go from there. I don't think there's any problem. Okay, we'll go out and tack spread, press on out. Normal en route frequency changes and all. No problems. The FAC, we'll go ahead and get the target information, copy it down. Fusing won't be any problem on that. We'll talk about the possibilities in a minute on the ordnance delivery, but as far as what I want you to call out will be the running heading and the brake, friendlies as their factor. I will call out the release altitude, and you can come back and confirm the release altitude and give me the mill setting. I want you to have the mill settings for level 2 1/4, level 475, 10 degree dive 935, 30 degree dive, and we're going to use 220 mils and 2225 as the indicated release or correction AGL release altitude. And the tactics we'll use will strictly be dependent upon the terrain, whether it's level or hilly, the amount of cover, whether it's thick foliage or clear, and the ground fire. If there's not any ground fire, well, there'll be no problem with it. A combination of these, plus the location of friendlies, will dictate which tactic we'll use. I'm sorry. Put that down. 2225. Now this, Vaughn, for your purposes, this 30 degree dive that's in the book, as far as I'm concerned, in our flight, we don't use it. It's a hazardous one. What, 1,600 feet? And you think about 30 degree dive with 320 knots, you only have a few hundred feet to play with. And if you misjudge, get a little too steep, or be too high, or take it from the wrong altimeter, or what have you, you buy it. So we use this other one, which is 220 mils, 2225 above the ground with 30 degrees, and that gives you a good 1,000 foot there to play with, even after you pull it out. And actually, it's a lot better if you're taking ground fire to use that one, because your recovery is a lot higher. Okay, as far as, I'll go more into tactics in just a minute. As far as the fact is concerned, we'll give him the opportunity to tell us what everything is, elevation, ice obstacle, friendly, bailout, weather, and so on. And I'll acknowledge as necessary. You don't have to repeat anything, and if you miss something, I'll ask for it. We'll take whatever he says as defenses, and it will also dictate what tactic we'll use in this delivery here. Okay. First consideration with CBU is that the stuff scatters pretty much, and it's deadly on troops in the open, on protected troops. And you just don't want to get it down among your own troops at all, because the stuff has a tendency to bounce around. It goes down into the trees, and go into bunkers and everything else. So if you have friendlies, I don't bomb at number 1, because the altitude you get more dispersion. Secondly, if the friendlies are very close, the closer they are, the lower I go. And I don't go low unless I'm forced down there by the friendlies, or unless the foliage is thick enough. In other words, over the jungle, you can come in low and be more protected there. But if you get down over the rice paddies out here low, your ass is hanging out. So it's a combination of these, friendly, the coverage and whatnot, whether you take ground fire or not. It's just how you're going to put it in. The closer the friendlies are, of course, the more your reports down regardless of the coverage. Minimum distance on this is what, 110 meters. That's 110 meters, and I'll say that's only good considering you're going on a level. If you're going at 10 degree, I'd move it out to 200 meters. If you're going on 30 degree, I'd move it out to about 400 or 500 meters. That's kind of the way I'd back away from it with higher altitude. And you know about the spin-off. You familiar with that? Okay, the offset on this thing then. If you go in a 30 degree dive, you have to offset 100 mils. If you come in 10 degree dive, offset 70 mils. If you go either one of the level deliveries, you can use about 50 mils. It's offset to the right. You can figure out about 10 feet per knot for drift. If you're going to try to lay it down the line here, you're going to be offset your 50 mils, number one, and then offset right or left, depending on your degree of crosswind, 10 feet per knot, roughly. I round it out. It's variable, but about 10 feet per knot of crosswind. So you'll have to offset again for the crosswind, maybe in other words, into the wind, however which way it comes. And then that should put it strung out. As far as how you put it down, with 6 pylons, we can go ahead and put it down on all pylons and really cover a lot of ground, saturate it, and just spread it out, which would give it maximum saturation. Or you can just go ahead and arm a couple. I usually would select 2 at a time, 2 pylons at a time. Now, it depends on what he wants. We'll fire in manual or we'll fire in single. If we go singles, it just depends on how far he wants the stuff stretched. If he wants it to go as far as we can go, we'll set up 6 pylons, set singles, and pickle, 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 until you run out of pickles. 36 plus 6 more pickles would be 42 pickles. That's a lot of daggone pickling. And so it's just a matter of whatever they want us to do. It just determines on what we're going to do. So you have to pay attention. If I say set up 2 pylons and pickle 5, 6 times, and we'll go ahead and make 3 passes that way. If we're going to dive bomb it, if he wants it concentrated, if he really wants it concentrated, we'll dive bomb it 3 dive bomb passes, and we'll pickle all 6 stations manual twice each time. Or we can go ahead and make 6 dive bomb passes. It just depends on what he wants. It just depends on how concentrated he wants. So all I can say in preparation for it is pay attention, because with 6 stations out there, you have all kinds of versatility. If you start dive bombing it, we can dive bomb it on a spring. If you start dive bombing it, and what I'll do is ask him to put down 2 marks. If it's rough, he says string it out as far as you can. Okay, we'll just pickle, 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 we get tired. But if he has an area that he wants specifically covered, I'll ask him for 2 smokes, a starting and a finishing smoke. And then depending, of course, I'll tell you how many times you're going to pickle and how many stations you're going to pickle. But the way I want you to do it is to go ahead and just use your intervalometer, and it'll start going a little bit short of where your first pipper is as you start pickling. And if you just run it to the end, it should come out over it and cover it. But if we're using 10 degrees, you start out with 70 mils and working down toward 50 mils offset, plus or minus your wind right or left. If we're dive bombing it and he wants another string, if we're taking fire, for example, and he wants it on a spring, I'll go ahead and dive it in. And you'll do the same thing here, start pickling at about 2,400 feet, putting your pipper 100 mils and working your mils in toward 70. And just bringing your nose up. As long as you don't pull over 1G, the stuff is going to be tubes. If we're delivering it level, make sure you're pickling with 1G. You start pulling G's, you're going to have stuff hanging up, and as soon as you unload, it's going to start coming out again. ESP, 320 knots is delivery speed, 350 knots is the maximum delivery. If you go over 350, I don't know what happened. I guess the damn things will spin on them too quick and get behind the aircraft and bounce together. I don't know what the limit, why it's that way. We have had some of them go off right behind the aircraft and put all kinds of holes in the aircraft. So perhaps that's the problem. Things spin arms, takes 3,000 RPM to arm, and then as it decelerates through 2,000 RPM, it goes off. So I don't know what the cause of the things going on. If you select a pod and hit the trigger, of course you hit the button, that pod has to be jettisoned. It has to be jettisoned. If it's full pod, 200 knots. If it's an empty pod, 160 knots as long as it's not adjacent to a pilot tank. Correction, 200 knots as long as it's not adjacent to a pilot tank. 160 knots if it is. If we clean the pods out, we'll be jettisoning 160 knots. That's about the size of it. As far as you should jettison the thing in the water or the river if you can. But again, 160 knots if you're coming down low, trying to hit a little pond or whatnot, you're kind of sticking your ass out. And I think they've had guys hit like this. So what I normally do is just ask permission to dump it over the target. If you look almost vertically, that's where the things will go. Pick them off, they just fall. At 160 knots, they don't have that much forward momentum. They're big and bulky, and they slow down quick, and they start dropping direct. You don't bring them back. As far as, again, on the CBU, with these things here, they're kind of bad if you bring a pod back. Why, the things can be dribbling out anywhere. So if we can't get them off in the normal drop, selective jettison, we'll go ahead and try rotating everything else, and if worse comes to worse, we'll go ahead and panic the thing some. And if we do that, we'll be taking them off at 200 knots then, because that should be enough to clear the pylon from the aircraft, pylon tank. But if we're dropping them individually, we'll be 160 knots. In other words, if we're selective jettisoning these things, 160 knots. And that's about it. Just have to pay attention to what I'll give you on the thing. If there's any doubt, why I ask. I'll be telling you it'll either be setting up all, or 2 or 4, and it'll be manual or single. And the singles, of course, you'll be getting 1 tube at a time, and the manual will be getting pairs or whatever it is. So just listen to what I tell you and go from there. If we use the guns, on this, the reason I'm not going to have you call out the release altitude is because, hell, I don't know what it's going to be, and you'd just be guessing. If we're over the jungle, once it's strewn out, we'll go down to 2 1/4. If it's in open country, we'll be going higher than that. That's basically it. Okay. For bringing these things back, we have pretty good drag, 70 miles. If we haven't done work at 1,800 pounds, we'll figure on bringing them back at 1,800. That should give us enough fuel to get back here with GCI, GCA. So 1,800 pounds, if we haven't begun to expend, and we can still bring them back. In other words, we don't have to do anything else. We just bring them back. 1,800 pounds. And once we started on that, we'll call it, with the weather the way it is, let's call it 1,500 pounds. That should give us some room to go somewhere else if we can't get in here. They are saying, they say isolated thunderstorms here. So, and 2,003 miles, which is still the Air Force, that should give us plenty of fuel to get back. Emergency fuel up there, Quan Loy is open, and they use about, let's call it 1,000 pounds for recovery in Quan Loy. What was that rescue call sign up there? King 34 and 36.
261.
Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, option fuel checks will be standard. There's a possibility in this delivery that I'll ask you to come reciprocal level when I'm dive bombing. If I can get their attention on a dive bomb, I can have you come in reciprocal from the other direction. Now, this will work out. Now, this is the only time where I believe reciprocal's any good on this sort of thing, where you get right out, come in, because they'll be looking for you, coming in the same old damn dive bombing. We can come in the back door. on this reciprocal, because they won't be able to see you coming if you come level. I don't want you reciprocal dive bombing, because it's easy to follow me around, pick you up, and follow you back. But it's very possible here I'll actually do a reciprocal from the level when I'm doing dive bombing. So just listen up on it. Okay. No such thing as hung ordnance here. Have a hung pod, of course. Again, we talked about getting rid of it, and we'll talk again about it. Bar landing is pretty much standard. If you take a hit, quits, head to the bailout area. If you have to jettison stuff and go. And these pods, if they're still full, if you have any kind of ground down for them to hit, they'll have a low order detonation on contact. So they won't be of any use to them anyway. Bar damage, call it out if you have a chance, and if you feel like you're going to step out and go to emergency, of course, call. Try to go to an impact area. If you can get to the bail area, fine. Radio out, again, we'll cease and desist at that time. Go from there. If we should have one of the pods, say one of your pods doesn't want to fire, we'll go ahead and fire out the others. We're not going to worry about it. We'll just fire the others out, and then we'll select the jettison that one. Well, we'll select the jettison all of them. But if we have one of them won't fire out, first of all, we have one that won't fire out, we'll come back and jettison that son of a buck so we don't have anything dribbling out, and then we'll go to work with the others. Okay? Okay, radio out, weather permitting, go past the fact, go 1,000 feet. And if it's not, why join up with the aircraft again. And if we have weather to be a factor, get separated and whatnot. Either takeoff is there. If we're going to take off and go 376, go to the TAC end 15,000 feet. That's for radio failure and loss of wing or loss of lead. And in the target area, if you get up there and you've reached 1,800 pounds and you haven't seen or heard from me, go 376 and start heading home. Or heading home. We'll drop the pod somewhere. Okay. If we have radio out, we'll figure on flying close or route position with the guys ready to take on the wing. We'll plan on making a wing landing as long as it's not after 1950. If it is, well, we'll come back the guy off. We plan on using visual signals. If it's pitch black night, we'll use the lights. And once the one line will be gear flaps. The second line will be you have the lead, acknowledged by extending your landing lights. The wave off at night will be a beacon on. At daytime will be a slight turn into the guy. There. Rest capture standard, you'll be high and I'll be low. Anything else is necessary, go from there. In that area, you might have to get pretty high to get help, I don't know. Just depends. Go as high as necessary. Go to guard, go to emergency. Retransmit, get your dust off frequency if you have there. Retransmit your coordinates on guard and the dust off. Go from there. Straight technique, be low angle, low rate, minimum expenditure 45 mils, 45 meters from you. Top recovery, we'll figure on making a VMC overhead recovery. If we're forced to move GCI, GCA, we'll come back individually if the weather is below 2,000 feet. Otherwise, we'll come back and make an overhead GCI dimensional overhead range. Descent checks are standard. After we get done making a delivery, we'll be standard. I'll call alarm and switch it safe. You can come up to a ride or a fighting wing and I'll wave you in, come on in. We'll go to 72.8 monitoring 2. If you have anything to say, we'll say it on Fox Mike. And come over to 2, give them RTV and come back 14 and so on. Usual about that. We come in line as a formation, well, we'll come back as a formation. Come back GCI, GCA, individually, come back individually, go from there. After landing checks be normal. Lost wingman shouldn't be a problem, we've already discussed it, however. If we're in the weather, the lost wingman is basically 15 seconds and holler. Let us know what's going on. Radio binocular recovery, talk about. If it's still daylight, we'll figure on a wing landing. If it's dark, we'll figure on dropping down off. Spatial orientation shouldn't be a problem. Reading our problem up there now. We don't have high growth weights, status airfield. Nothing on us. Of course, forecast disturbance out fan range, so everything looks real good. And the emergency procedure today is the ejection.
Order crew member to do alarming handles raised, fire injector squeeze.
Okay, bail out, seat fails to go. What about that, Tom?
Bail out at what?
Seat fails to eject.
Either the canopy is already gone, just disconnect all leads, trim it, hose down, hose low, and separate all the leads as the connections out of the stack. If the canopy hadn't gone, I'll try to blow it off one way or the other. Just at the end off.
Okay. And shower control when you try to drive over the trailing edge. What you've just heard is the ground briefing for this mission, and we'll be following this now with the condensed version of what happened after we took off and got to the approaching the area with the FAC, and then the internal and external conversations that took place as we proceeded with this mission. And with that, I'll go ahead and start taping that.
Nice 5-3 check. Crash control, nice 5-3, mission 5303, rendezvous 3407, ER 73.
Johnny, this is Crash control, see and call sign, please.
Nice 5-3.
You got a copy, installation number 5303.
That's affirmative.
Oh, Roger, contact now, don't have his call signs, and now fact on frequency 318.0, rendezvous 345 channel 73.
Roger, Nile on 318.0, 34570.
Roger, guys, 5-3, this is Rash Control, you got a solid copy, have a good day to you, and you're clear to speak at this time.
Roger, nice 5-3, let's go 318.0. Nice 5-3, check. And Nile, nice 5-3.
Nice 5-3, Nile 02, right?
Roger, Nile 02, nice 5-3, mission 5303, rendezvous 345 at 70 off 73.
Stand by. Okay, Dice, go ahead with your radio again.
Roger, was at 345 at 70 off 73, and I'm presently on the 345 at 32.
Okay, come on over to the 330 at about 58, we'll pick you up. We've got immediate target for you, it's ground air fire.
33058.
Sir. Go ahead with your rundown if you would, please.
Roger, Dice 5-3 is 2 Alpha 37's mission 5303. We have one little all CBU, it's 8 CBU 25s, 2 tiny pistols.
I understand you're carrying CBU 25.
That's affirmative, 6 apiece.
0 radio at 28.
Okay, stand by.
Channel 69, impacting Yankee Delta 3515. All aircraft remain clear by 5 nautical miles for the next 20 minutes. We're at 503 on board up.
Jax 5-3 descending to 14.5. And Nile 02, Dice 5-3.
Dice 53, dial 02, what's your location?
Roger, I'm about 3 miles from Hondo at 14.5, and I'll throttle back if you don't do me right away, but I'll let on down if you do.
All right, so we're going to need you pretty quickly. We got some ground air fire down here, and they're going to put a little CSGS in the area, and we're going to put your floaties on top of it.
Roger, understand, and you an no V10?
Oscar Deuce, we're about 6 or 7 clicks east of a rubber plantation. And if you're ready to copy some weather, I'll get it to you.
Roger, and 2 descent check.
Did he say buoys?
The strain elevation on this area is about 500 feet to the treetops, and altimeter is 29 or 74. The surface winds are light and variable. As you go up, they come out of the west-northwest, about 14 knots.
Roger, 500 feet, tops trees, and 29 or 74, and winds otherwise 14.
Garage, and nearest friendly will be about 4 clicks to the west. You can expect a small arms fire, and for the bailout area, we'll put you out over fire support base to the west.
Roger, I'm over at fire support base this time.
Okay, if you'll come to the east, you'll probably see me. I'm down here at about 3,500.
Roger, how far are you east of that?
I don't have you in sight yet. They're marking a target location right now with red smoke, and you can run in on a heading of east to west.
Roger, understand east to west, left brake, and I'm over at fire support base just a little bit to the south of it. You say you're due east, how far?
About 6 or 7 clicks.
Roger, and can we have a Fox mic back up?
Roger, 4518.
Roger, monitor 4518 too.
Say again, 4815, I'm sorry.
4815.
About 10 o'clock now.
I got a tally now. Yeah, we're in your 10 o'clock position high there, 02, coming around your 12 o'clock now.
Okay, I'm circling the general target location right now, and stand by one while I get it pinpointed.
Would you like to have this dive bombed or laid out in the line?
I think we'd like to have it laid out.
Roger, how many passes would you like? We've got wall to wall.
I think we'll put you in about 2 passes.
We can make it 3 more comfortably.
Okay, that'll be fine.
Roger, and so as you let us know what you got while we'll be setting up for a manual on this and going with outboards first too.
Copies. And do you have any questions, 5-3?
Negative. And let's use 725 on this too.
Copies.
And 3 and 6 spacing.
Okay, 5302 here. They're putting CS on the target. They're going to go in with Cobras after the CS, and then we're going to put you in with your CBU. The target area is about 200 by 500, and it runs southeast northwest. Okay, they've taken ground fire down there. That's why we've changed the target from one that was up north. I want you to get that low for all those 3 passes. What do you think about that?
That's right, and we'd like to have 2 marks, one at the beginning and one at the end, and I'll take the left side and 2 you take the right.
Okay, tell you what, why don't you come by on your first pass with 80% of your ordnance expended, and maybe make it by 150 by 700 long. Can you do that?
Roger, we'll go ahead and set it up fire ripple 2 and use 3 and 4.
Okay.
Correction, fire single. And once we start on that pass with that CS on the ground, use 100% oxygen as you start down in.
He's 100% a good idea. Okay, we might have to wait just a little bit here while they get all this shit in order down there, so we'll let you know.
Roger. Two, we may go ahead and go back to manual. If it looks like a short enough run, we can get 6 pickles off in there. If not, well, we'll go ahead and stretch it out.
Roger.
And if we stretch it out, it'll be rapid fire, as many pickles as you can get off there.
Roger. See the CS-53?
That's primitive.
Weird stuff.
This stuff is kind of weird, too.
I'd like to change the run-in heading from east to northeast to southwest. Northeast to southwest, you still want to overfly that fire support base there. If you break long, carried out a ways, you can go around it without overflying it.
Roger, you want it roughly in the same area that CS is now?
Roger, the CS is oriented northeast-southwest. We're going to run you northeast to southwest, and yeah, I think you can see that area pretty well.
Roger, I probably won't even need a smoke with that.
Oh, we got to pull one in.
Okay.
Guess we don't have to pull one in. So if you can see that area, and just cover the area of the CS gas from the northeast-southwest, I think that'd be good.
Roger, understand. And we'll be going on that. Let's fire manual on that too, and we'll stretch it out to 6 pickles from beginning to end. Roger. That's flechettes there. Where do you come with flechettes?
Yeah, 5-3, we'll stand by on word from the ground if they think the CS has been in there long enough to do its work, and wait till the choppers get out of the way.
Roger, over. It's a rocket with a bunch of small darts in it, and it gets out a certain distance and explodes, and these things go out, and it's just like a shotgun. It's called flechettes. Very saturated area. And lead has got drops out 17 and tips on.
Close drop reading 1750.
That red smoke you see is flechettes.
Roger. You know, on private show here. Guys, 5-3 flying bingo now is 1,200 pounds. Copies. And 2, I'm going to throttle back to 160.
2 copies.
And now 02, this dice 5-3 over.
That's 5-3, 02, go.
Roger, how much longer do you think?
It won't be more than a couple minutes.
Roger. And 2 again, this will be firing pods 3 and 4, right and left, manual, 6 pickles. And I'll take the left, you take the right, every 725.
That's copy, and you can call me pylons 1700 at this time.
Okay, Dice 5-3, what's your location right now?
Roger, I'm presently northeast of the target area.
All right, Raj, can you go ahead and roll in from that position?
Now, I'll be coming around. I'll have to set up a downwind leg of some sort here.
Okay, let me know when you're set up on downwind. We'll start from the northeast corner of that CS and work at southwest.
Roger, I'd like you to put a mark down where you want it to begin. That stuff started drifting there, and I'd like to get good coverage on it, and I have an idea where the end of it is, but it's drifted quite a bit.
Okay, let me know when you're ready for mark.
You just go ahead and put your 2 marks down now, one at either end, and we'll go ahead and go from there.
Okay.
And 2 takes spacing, and after he puts his marks down, we may go fire single with 12 pickles. Correction to be 24 pickles. pressure one down at the south end then too?
Okay, if Pat's mark is down there, it's pretty well blending in with the rest of it. It's coming up through the trees.
Roger, I have. Roger, I have it now.
Okay, I'll go ahead and mark the other end.
I'll take the left side too, and let's go on this manual 6 pickles and stretch it out there. Roger.
Okay, it looks like I have to stretch it out longer than we first, maybe with a click. Can you do that?
About a click? Roger. Roger, you really have to go singles on this too and make it 12 or 24 pickles. I don't have your second mark yet, 02.
Okay, the second mark is down.
I can just follow the general pattern of the smoke, and I'm coming in from the northeast, and I have you in sight at this time. Am I clear? Am I clear? You're cleared in. Go manual on it and use 6 pickles.
Well, that's different. You're going to shorten it up a little.
That's clear. I'm going to try to think. The lead will be coming around, following to it. Northeast, and I have you in sight.
Okay, that was a good string lead. Show you the same place you did last time and shorten it up.
Roger. Am I cleared? Am I cleared?
Roger, you're clear.
Okay, down right on the strip. Lanes off left for Winchester.
Okay, I understand. You're both Winchester?
No, you do. You still got a lane?
Okay.
I'd like to come in for high and go straight and cover behind too, if you don't mind.
All right, that's okay. Still, I want you to start 200 meters south of the northernmost smoke.
300 south to northern, how far you want to go?
Just the same as your last. It was real good.
Roger, then to the northeast, and I've got you in sight. Am I clear?
2, you're clear.
That lane's coming in from the northeast behind 2 straight, and I don't have you in sight. I have you in sight now.
Roger, lead, you'll be cleared in, and there's a chopper off to the southwest in the loads. Watch out for that.
Roger, I've got my screens.
And moves off the left, Winchester. You're cleared in, lead.
I'm clear to set up the guns. Yeah, if you want someone, go ahead and expand 2 passes. Roger.
Yeah, Roger, arm your guns and stay high here, and we'll look over the area.
And I'm pressing your 8 o'clock too.
Roger.
And we'd like to make 1 pass and jettison our tubes if we can from about 4,000 in the target area.
Clear.
Now 02.
Yeah, roger that. You can't jet us on a strafe pass, can you? Check on track.
Negative. We have to have 160 knots. I'd like to drop them right over the middle of the target area if you don't mind.
Okay, go ahead. I wouldn't get too low because they're probably still down there. You didn't take any fire on your runs, did you?
Not that I know of. I'll be coming in from the northeast and dropping at 4,000 feet, 162.
Okay. This I'll go ahead and make the 360 to the right. Can you go on then?
Roger.
Alright, gotcha.
Joe, you clear the target area now.
Flight 3, you're clear.
Roger, I'll be right over the center, pickling at 4,000. Flying 3 and 6 away.
Attitude in from the northeast.
Roger.
And I'll be servicing the fire line. Okay, so go through dry. Who's going through dry? Okay, I gotta watch that NDP off to the southwest. No, I guess it wasn't. Okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought. He'll be clear to come around a little farther to the west than Lee did. Okay, I'm going to this time, Chris. Raj, you on final now? That's fine. Turn in, take a little bit more to the west. Got more to the west, and we just got some ground fire. Okay, you're clear to drop. And who saw the ground fire? Those two. A little bit to the left, one of the string of CEOs isn't this guy. Okay, Lee, I got you rolling in. You'll be cleared in where you saw the ground fire.
I don't have it, too. You'll have to point it out to us if we're going to take and put anything on it.
Okay, he was take about half the length of the CS there, and about 10 meters to the left. Right there where it's the widest. Come on around and take a crack at it this time.
Maybe 02, could you put a rocket in that area, and then we can make corrections from number 2's calls?
Roger. To the east of the CS and just in the middle. That's correct.
Just set your guns up at 30 degrees, and I'll be firing at 35.
Roger, where are you at this time?
Roger, I'm 6 o'clock to you. 6,000. Now you go ahead and make your corrections from wherever he put his rocket there. You have his rocket now?
Roger, it's a firm. Let's go at 20 meters to the northwest.
Roger, you're in downwind now?
I'm turning course, I'm cleared in. North, Charlie, you're cleared in. Yeah, this is good. My screens are up.
Roger, I'm going to put screens on in a second. Say 20 northwest.
That's fine.
Roger. And 02, lead is in from the northeast this time. I have you in sight.
Roger, I've got you in sight and you're clear.
Okay. Roger, lead's going to have to hold the rest of the ammo to cover the back, and you'll be cleared another pass if you let you in.
Roger. Roger, you're going to be cleared in. Okay, I'm in from the northeast, and I've got you in sight. Roger, I've got you.
Stand by
Fire, this is Titan GCA Uniform Guard, contact 10 RD Blackwood. You're clear.
Shooting saying fire this time. Roger, I'm 6 o'clock to you, just north of the target this time too.
As soon as I get outside of those targets, I'll be in on you. Okay, lead, you're cleared in.
Roger, I've got enough rounds to cover. If you want to go down and take a look at it, we can go ahead and clean out the barrels one.
Just going down and clean out the barrels. The ground wants to go ahead and take a look after you're through.
Roger, 2, I'm behind you. Go ahead and first, and I'll be following you in for one more pass, and you can make one more pass. That'll be it.
Please, Travis. Please, run out, check.
Please turn off, check also. I got tips in 1750.
Cruise in from the northeast, I've got you in sight.
Okay, 5-3, you're cleared in.
I got to swing around to the northwest this time a little bit more. Police coming in, one from the north this time, and I have your say. Is he cleared?
Actually, you're clear. That's you now, it's going to right. I can make around and get one more pass here, okay? Okay, I tell you what, why don't we just head on home here. We're going to put some RD in the target area. Sure they got you in your sights by now. We might take a hit if we go through once more.
I'm close to the target going north again, too. You have anything?
Who's got you?
And you want to go ahead to the BDA then, 02?
Roger. Target coordinates, X-ray uniform 495-080. And we rendezvoused at 25. He wants to work at 30-45. Figure 100 over 90. And give you 100% within 20 meters. It's real fine work. We'll let you know what the BDA is.
Roger, thank you much. And 2 checks what you say.
You did. Right down off your left wing tip now, your tail.
Now 02, my other cockpit troop here said that we got just took ground fire again, so it's still down there. Now 02, nice, fine, you got me? Nice, fine, 3 checks what you say.
That's what you say.
And we'll stay around here one more time. Do we know he's out of the area?
Nice. You try him last night?
Negative.
I was outstanding strike there, 5-3, and 2, that's outstanding that you saw that ground airfire. We're putting RD in on the area right now. We're at a safe altitude, so you guys will be clear to go on home, and thanks again, it's really good.
Roger, nice, fine, 3. You'll be advised, I don't know whether you copy or not, but as I was taking BDA, this kind of right here, see here, said that I was taking ground fire too.
Okay, who was taking ground fire?
Lead was. As I was taking BDA right over that same area that you're about to go over now.
Okay.
And if we don't need us anymore, we'll head on back. We can cover you here for another 5-10 minutes.
Roger that. We might order up some more air on this thing. They keep shooting at us, but you'll be clear of the target area now.
Roger, nice, fine, 3. And thank you very much, Miles 02, and nice 5-3, let's go. 72-8, monitor 2.